Okay, Reaperman here, and today I'm off work because I am waiting for the arrival of my San Francisco Rush 2049 Special Edition cabinet. So we thought we'd have a look at this. This is the best way outside of the cabinet I could think of to play Rush, and this is the Dreamcast version, played through Redream, which I coughed up at 1280 by 960 resolution. Let's just run through the tracks here. I don't have them all unlocked because I haven't done the intermediate course that unlocks the last track, but I have unlocked the, I believe it's the mission track by doing the beginner. So we may actually do that a little later on in this here stream. I guess it's not really a stream because I'm having some internet problems. It is a record and play. Alright. I really do like how this Redream emulator seems to be handling the game. I do like the added resolution. That is pretty nice. And this is just a nice, easy little warm-up track. We're just going to take the kind of basic route here at the beginning, except for this little thing up here. This is a shortcut that up at the top makes you go irrationally fast. Doesn't look like a shortcut, but it actually produces more time savings than it reasonably should. And we'll hit this switch for successive laps. That opens up this hole over here on the left. And I don't particularly like taking that hole, but it is nice to have options. Now, I do seem to recall there being giant Atari logos over to the left in the arcade game, and this game has taken most of those Atari logos out because, of course, the Atari Game Studio was, I believe, closed down after the release of Rush 2049. You can still catch a couple of Atari logos, though. Around this corner, if you look over on the left, there's a bridge in the background. That's, yeah, that's just an Atari logo. But yeah, most of the Atari logos are not in here. Let's take this one. This is the second half of a shortcut that you can get starting on the previous corner when we were staring at that Atari Bridge logo. But you have the option of taking the first half, the second half, or both halves, and chaining it with that tube. Well, that was just a little bit of fun. Now, as you can see, I've grabbed some of the coins on this level. I really haven't explored too many of the other levels. Well, I have. I've just done a very poor job of exploring the other levels. There is a coin that I haven't grabbed that I see a gold one. If you look on the right side of this here jump, there it is. So I just have to take the jump tweaked and grab that. And I think there's another coin when we go around this corner. If you look over to the right, you should be able to see some kind of jumping and rampage over there, and I believe in reverse a gold coin becomes painfully obvious up that thing. Oh, this game is just great. Now, this is of course the console version, the Dreamcast version, and this is considered by many to be the best version of one of the best games. I think it's alright. It is kind of padded out just a little bit, and let's actually do a new track here. We didn't do a very long race there. I've been doing 3-lap races to try and get used to things. Actually, let's do this one backwards, because this thing is radically different backwards. And let's turn this thing up a bit. I don't want to turn deaths on because then I can't get wild with the shortcuts. There's an interesting little switch right here by the finish line off to the left that I have not hit, so I do not know what it does. Let's see, coming around the corner here. You can see where the subway exits and the loop exits. We didn't take the loop in the last race. Probably should have. Now, the reverse courses are a little different, especially you'll notice button placement is not quite the same. Let's see if I've got... Oh, I got that gold coin already, because there was one right there on the end of that ramp. I don't like taking this one too much because it involves that tight corner there, and I lose a lot of time. And of course we have to take a different path up the hill because the crookedest street in the world over there. Whoop. It's actually blocked off, so we can't even take it up. Coming down here, we're not going to take that. I don't even think that's a shortcut on the reverse side. Cutting that shorter. There's that mystery switch that I keep forgetting to hit. And there's the transparent tube. There's the outlet for that. Yeah, these things just play radically different backwards. They're almost like different tracks. Whoop. There's some, like the, I don't know, the one with the hilltop. Some of the shortcuts that aren't quite so viable forwards become critically important backwards. I forget the name of the tracks on this thing. In the Dreamcast version, they're named, they're actually just numbered on the arcade version. And of course the arcade version has one track that the Dreamcast does not, and that is the rock. So it's got a kind of a remixed rock track from Rush the Rock Alcatraz edition. Now I believe the original Rush 2049 had 5 tracks in the arcade. When it came to Dreamcast, they added 2 more, and I believe those 2 tracks went back to the arcade in special edition form, because there was a special edition upgrade. Now my cabinet, when it arrives, has already been upgraded. I suppose I could talk a little bit about how this freight process works, not that I entirely know. But it cost me about a little over $400 to ship this thing from Rhode Island, and it hasn't been fast. It shipped on the 17th, and it is currently the 12th of January. It's shipped on the 17th of December. Whoa. Let's respawn. And it goes through various freight carriers, and tracking gets very, very iffy. Right now the tracking is showing that it's in Dallas-Fort Worth. However, I got a call yesterday that it was indeed in Hammond and delivering today between 09 and 1300, sometime in there, and I'm going to be kind of unhappy if it doesn't arrive. I don't do very well with freight at this address, or maybe just the local freight companies hate me or something. I tried repeatedly to get an Amazon chair delivered, and I don't even think that chair was in the state with me at any point. So that's why I'm still sitting in this crusty old chair that I've still got to replace. It's getting hard to buy chairs. Furniture in general seems to be in fairly short supply. I think it's all the people staying home for the couve. Whoop. And speaking of the couve, unfortunately, whoop, up at my work we're back to wearing masks at our desks, so that's not pleasant. None of us really like it. And of course we've all got the vax. Yay, because they had us do that right there. The corpsman came in and gave us the jab if we volunteered, with air quotes, for it. The voluntary part being, you know, not really voluntary. There's just a time limit when we're allowing you to choose, and then we're going to force you. And that's how 2020 kind of goes here. Yep, but right now we're down to 2 people at a time up at work, because despite all the vaxxing, we have actually quite a lot of people out. And one of the people I know that's out, he actually got the vax the same day as me, so that's not encouraging. I remember he was sitting there in line. I was talking to him. Corpsmen were very efficient with the jabbing. The wife got it at some kind of a civilian place, and much, much less efficient than the Navy corpsmen were. Oh, okay. So that was a track backwards. Actually, let's continue these backward track trends because I don't think a lot of people race the tracks backwards on the YouTube. Now, it's important to remember that backwards tracks are not actually in the arcade game. It doesn't even have the mechanisms for it. We usually don't take this track entirely standard. There are some crazy shortcuts. We're going to try a stupid one. Actually, there was about 10 different ways to negotiate the path I just took. There's just a stupid amount of shortcuts around that last corner there. But we're going to take the stupidest shortcut of all. I don't even think it saves time. But we got this super jump. Oh, I'm up through the donut, and none of this geometry is at all in the arcade game. Whoop, 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 boom. Oh, I wonder if that's the thing I have to fly off of to grab that gold coin on the fence post. Now, this game is actually fairly survivable if you are sticking to the track, but if you start taking shortcuts, man, you can dramatically reduce your survivability. And we just lift off the gas a little here, hoping not to slide off the track. Should have lifted a little more, kept that a bit tighter. So that dirt track there is the actual, is part of a shortcut path that can go a few different ways. That shortcut, I believe, only makes sense in the forward direction. Let's go up one of these hill shortcuts here. There's a bunch of ways to take this. I think this road here is probably the main one. This actually comes out kind of comes out on if you're taking it forward. Oh, you can't take that one either way. Oh, that was news to me. Thought I was going to be cheeky and take a new path. In the forward direction, I kind of like taking the left direction there. We're going to take this jump. Now you can actually, you know, fly a little. Yes! Got the gold coin. Mission accomplished. You can actually stick your wings out, and that does help you fly longer, and flying longer looks sweet, but it is generally slow. According to the arcade flyer, it is one of those things where, slightly realistically, if your wheels are spinning in the air, they are not accelerating you. Your wheels, of course, look like they're going 1,000,000 miles an hour because the speedo is actually tied to your wheel speed, but you are not. There are still times when you would want to use your wings to keep yourself off the ground to carry more speed. There are lots of places in this game where you could be above your top speed. And actually, in the forward direction, those little green accelerator tracks that we passed over half a lap ago, those would be one of those because you can get enough height to deploy your wings in the forward direction. I don't believe you can in the rearward direction. You know what? Let's not take the stupid jump this time, because I've got my gold coin. Let's take the actual intended path. Whatever you do, don't keep going down the road. It ends in a dead end, and you can either reverse or abort or just crash yourself. You get kind of your own choice there. And this is one of those games where sometimes crashing into the wall is beneficial for lap times. Not always. In the Dreamcast version of Rush 2049, the accelerator and brakes are both analog, which the ports of this game on well, I guess you can deploy your wings. The ports of this game on Midway Arcade Treasures 3, as far as I've seen, all of those have a digital throttle, but since it's analog on the Dreamcast, you can do a lot more with your brakes specifically than you can in other versions of this game. If you've seen me play the other versions of Rush, and I say not to use your brakes and to use the reverse button, that's because brakes really suck unless they're analog. They will instantly lock your car up and spin you out. But with analog, you can do quite a lot of stuff. In fact, you can back off throttle. You don't have to completely let off, and that can help you around corners. This is a fantastic version of the game, and this transparency effect along the ceiling is fantastic, and it's missing from the Midway Arcade Treasure 3 versions, so that kind of sucks. Alright, let's take this regular path again up here. Ooh. And yeah, I'm not going terrifically fast in this. Just trying to have a little bit of fun, get some warm-up laps in. There's the San Francisco windmill, the first one. There's another one up here. There's a lot of little silly paths. You can actually come down this particular street on both sides, and they both do interesting things. I should actually... this is the last lap, or I would. Kind of take that path off to the right because it can do some crazy things. It looks like they've got a windmill ramp set up just for going this direction. I've seen it going forward. They have like a speed booster. I think there's a coin on top of that building. Anyway, so since this is our last chance, let's try to take a crazy path up through one of the many paths up here. Let's follow this secondary path. Probably going to drop us on this road. Okay, and then we can choose to do the tunnel, or we can just come up where we are. Okay, cool. I think the path that I have chosen was the least elegant kind of spaghetti way through that. Great. But it's something you can do in this game as long as you don't slow down too much. I do really like this whole shortcut that's put in just for the console version. That's nice. Oh wait, we do have another chance to take this. Okay, we are going to take this path here and see if we can do this whole windmill thing. There's a button. I think that button may not do what we want it to, though. This button probably did what we want it to, because we wanted to come up by the windmill. Okay, so we just ended up taking the dirt track version of that, but that's not so bad. I currently have the all-terrain tires on the car, so dirt doesn't slow me down nearly as much as with most of the other tire types. That was fun. So in addition to unlocking the second to the last track, I've also done a whole bunch of car parts. So let's move on to Civic Backwards. Okay, so Civic Backwards has some interesting shortcuts. So I've got the Sport Auto transmission unlocked. I've got a new engine unlocked, this 5-liter V6, which you know, it doesn't sound faster than the 6.2-liter V8, but it is. Got my all-terrain tires on. I got my standard alloy frame. I like running standard frame in here. I usually like running extreme handling, but at least here on Redream, with how it handles the thumbstick, I've dropped myself down to advanced handling. You've probably seen me do the extreme on most of the other versions of this game. And here, we actually get a choice of paint jobs. I believe the N64 one has the full-on car customizer from Rush 2, where it lets you pick stripes and stripe colors and all that stuff. And we really can't do that. We can, you know, swap around to some different colors, kind of like yellow. Yellow's good. And I pretty much stick with the 8-ball car. That thing to the right is not as impressive of a shortcut as it looks. It's actually the suicide shortcut in the forward direction. And the point of it is that you do it on the last lap. It saves some time, but then you smash into that pole is generally how I think that one's supposed to work. There's a gold and a silver coin down there. That is the thing that comes out by this dish up here. And this dish also has some roads around it, but if you take that tunnel, you come out by the accelerator ramp jump thing, and then you get the chance to kill yourself in one of a number of places. One thing we do want to do, though, is drop a little speed, and we are actually going to go for this little tunnel here. This is kind of a cool shortcut. It lines us up for this jump right. Oh! That's an interesting combo shortcut. It's actually a fun one to do on the forward direction as well. The whole pyramid lifts up. The downside to it is it's pretty tricky to do. I don't know if it saves you any time. Okay, so in the backwards direction I tend to stay down here, where in the forwards direction I often like to get up on the edges of this. And we gotta slow down a bit here and try not to die. It's a very inelegant transition in the rearward direction. You know what? Let's try taking that shortcut to the right. Can we get there? I can get there. It has been a long time since I've taken this one, and on the YouTubes I've seen it taken the other direction. Oh! As I just talk myself into that blade. There's the F-22s. They like to apparently buzz this straight. I say straight, but like most straights in this game, they're actually very vertical. So the Rush games are all about stupid jumps, stupid unrealistic jump physics. And very much like how Ridge Racer is kind of built around stupid unrealistic drift physics, if you like jumps, Rush is your game. Because once you get up in the air, all bets are off. They're like moon physics, which on this game there is actually a code to give it even more moon physics. And one thing I can't wait to try on my arcade cab is the code to do like Jupiter gravity, which actually pulls you down, and they say as if it was on Jupiter, but my guess is it's more like Earth gravity. Because let's face it, there's not a lot of gravity in this game. I think I will really enjoy the force feedback, though, on the actual arcade cabinet. If you're going to try this in Redream, and just look at it, it is gorgeous. But if you're going to try this in Redream, I recommend trying the dev build, because right now there is no jump pack support in the standard build of the game. But it is definitely going here in this dev build, and apparently it's been in Redream for months. And yes, I have been spending money on emulators, which sounds really stupid and really not like me, if you know me at all. But this wait for the Rush cabinet has been very torturous. And I do like the higher resolution this emulator allows us to view the game at. Whoa. Oh, we're going to make it this time. Okay, good. Whoop, whoop, whoop. Now, if we stay to the middle, we can make this pyramid rise up. That doesn't seem like a very good path through, but I usually take it anyway. Now look out for the train. And we stay up here, I guess. And there's a few different ways we can play this one, but none of them are great. Oh, this does set us up for a better angle, as I cut across the slowest grass anyway. Whoop. Okay, let's try and take this shortcut to the right again. The one that normally rams you right into that pole when you're going in the traditional direction. I want to say the way you're supposed to get down here is through a pit up like a volcano-like thing up on top of the mountain. There's a hole, a vertical shaft, and you're supposed to drop down that. Let's take this one. Let's see some stuff in the air. The all-terrain tires really do help the patches in here that are dirt. Whoop. Oh, there's that little hole I was talking about. So if we wanted to go back, that would be the way to do it. Ah, jeez. Ah. I should probably have reset. Yeah, I'm just going to reset. I'm probably in last place. Second to last place. This game, though. This game is just so close to perfect. And don't get me wrong, it has its fans, but there are a lot of people that just kind of have forgotten or kind of ignored the Rush games. That is a shame. In fact, I would say the second Rush game, Rush 2 Extreme Racing USA, that's the N64 exclusive, that one may even be a hidden gem on N64. And the reason is a lot of people, including myself, you know, Rush fan number one here, I skipped that one. I was already into Dreamcast, and I didn't come back to the Rush series until 2049 hit Dreamcast. So I actually skipped the N64 Rush 2 and the N64 Rush 2049. Truth be told, I only played the N64 one within the last 5 years. I didn't even own a copy until then. Speaking of copies I don't own, I also don't have a PlayStation copy of the first Rush, the one that everybody says is terrible. I should probably get myself one of those. After all, I did buy myself a Game Boy Color version of Rush 2049. And no, I still have not played LA Rush. I hear it's terrible, and I hear it's not a Rush game. And it's really that second part that bugs me. If it was terrible, but if it felt like Rush, I could totally get into that. Now, Rush has kind of a learning cliff to it. You explode a lot, and a lot of people give up before they get good, so to speak. But it is definitely worth it. And once you do this is a great game for hot lapping. It is a great game for multiplayer. It's a great game for just turning the lap count up and zoning out to the music. If you notice, I have the music volume set up high in this. It's actually twice what the car volume is. And the music in this game is so good. I hear Barry Leitch is on the soundtrack, actually. So I got like a Turbo 400 engine? Oh. We're actually going to do Metro. We're going to do Metro Forward. But now I need to put my new engine in. Turbo 400. Oh, it does. It gives it quite a boost. I'm still going to keep the all-terrain tires. I know the slicks are going to be a lot faster on pavement, but that does not translate into the grass. And I'm a poor driver, so I spend a lot of time in the grass. So the reason we're going forward is, one, I know the track better forward. We will probably try it backwards here, but it helps me remember where certain of these billboards are. And if we look at the purple ones, in fact, there's one right ahead. Whoop, 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 where's the purple one? Where's the purple one? Yeah, Leitch Auto. So it's got the Barry Leitch music. I don't know if he did all the tracks or just the 2 new tracks that are added for this game. The ones that came back to the arcade in the special edition. Maybe the tournament edition. I've never seen or played the tournament edition of this game. And around this track especially, it is very helpful to be on the Dreamcast version with its analog accelerator and analog brake, because you can just kind of dance on the edge of grip around these corners sometimes. And when you get it right, you really get it right. And all of the precision gets removed from this equation when you're playing on the Midway Arcade Treasures 3 versions of this. And if you saw my video a few videos ago, I played the Midway Arcade Treasures Rush 2049, and I had a good time, but I wasn't playing it like I play this. I was telling people, you know, slam the car into reverse, stuff like that. Where instead of reverse, you really should be applying dabs of brakes and dabs of throttles and stuff like that. Oh, geez. I'm never going to make it up that. Sorry, guys. Okay, let's take another suboptimal path here. Let's hit this button out here. Most trees in this game, most trees and most signs and stuff like that will not get you killed. If it's smaller than like 6 inches in diameter and it's a vertical pole, it's not going to kill you in this game. If you're wondering why I keep running through those things. It's actually a pretty slick way to get in here. Oh, here, let's try. Oh, I locked it up. Locked up the brakes there. And there's a lot of 90-degree corners in this that it helps to do like a partial throttle and then all the way down. I'll lock the car up, partial all the way. And you can be very smooth with this, or you can kind of slam into the wall. They're both about equally fast, but one of them is a lot more rewarding to do. You do lose some speed in this game when you hit the wall. This game will kill you fairly readily if you run into the wall nose on, but if you can manage to be sideways when you hit the wall, you can actually bang the wall quite hard here. Well, that wasn't nearly as hard as I intended to bang the wall. Ah! Here's one of these straightaways that is on the map. It looks like it should be just hold down the accelerator like in all the other racing games, but there's so much verticality that this becomes quite stressful, especially when you're bumping into other cars, other people, or the drones, that kind of thing. There's a little shortcut off to the right of this entrance that has a lot of dead ends in it, and I usually just don't take it because I am, I'll say it, I'm afraid and I've never figured it out. Oh geez, again, the same exact mistake. There is time savings to be had by going up that thing. It is kind of an annoying route though. Usually what the drones do is they come down here through this one, and there's where the ramp comes down. It goes through this red building kind of backwards, but then it gets, you're going extremely fast and it gets tricky to navigate the poles. So there's a dead car. The streetcar has, especially that streetcar, has a lot of casualties amongst the drone cars, and if you're having trouble with your tournaments in this game and that kind of thing, I highly recommend you turn deaths on for your tournament, because this track gets easy. All you have to do is not die, and you get a chance to restart the race if you are quick about it and you die, whereas the opponents, they just stay dead. So it gives you a tremendous advantage on the circuit modes. Whoa. Not entirely sure what all of the circuits unlock. I do know that I've done them all on Dreamcast. The actual Dreamcast, not this emulator. But I know the first two unlock the two tracks, so I've only unlocked the first of the two tracks, which is, I believe it's called Mission, and it's probably my favorite track of the game. I keep going back and forth between I Hate and Mission. I guess it's tracks 2 and track 6. Let's go ahead and try and figure this one out. It's a stupid path. Let's go this way now, and let's go right at, no, left again. Try this one. Ah! That was actually the intended path. There was just a train there. Okay, but if I come out the other one, I wonder if I come out actually on the half pipe. Quarter pipe, it's quarter pipe. Brake, go through here smooth. Just no faster than bumping into the wall, but whatever. Come down here. Ah. It is not uncommon when you play this game with deaths on for the computer to only have one drone alive, and way like half a lap back, like all the top drones just die in this level. Such a beautiful level too. And there are a bunch of ways to take all this stuff. I guess one of the most basic of the shortcuts is actually coming up. There's these two blue buildings, and it's clearly designed for you to skate through between them. What you can do, there's just not a lot of time savings involved in it, and the roughness of the ground. Even with these all-terrain tires, I probably don't recommend doing that over actually just taking the corner correctly. I always try and take this one low, but when I take it too low, it slams me into those buildings. I also find that on at least other versions of this game that I played recently, dabbing the brakes up here can get you to hit the ground faster and actually carry more speed through this thing. Not sure exactly how super that tip is. Up here where the train is, this is where most of the drones are going to crash. This and that streetcar by the finish line. Oh, oh, fine. Fine, let's just take this one. I think we can make it up. I'm sure it's possible to take that faster, but it never seems to work out for me. And we'll just nose over a bit and we'll blast down here. But now we have to get left. And that is tricky. So there's the all these little purple signs are the light signs. Now, if we get down to the quarter pipe, you can see the log homes sign. It'll be neat to see how the advertisements are in the arcade version when it arrives. And I've been told it can arrive at any point between 09 and 13 o'clock. So I've got myself a bit of a range. I guess it's about 10:30 now. We got the call last night to be here. I really do hope this works better than my Amazon freight situation. Or they kept telling me to be here. And weirdly, this was around the hurricane, so all of the roads were closed. But Amazon was calling me on the phone because I guess Amazon tracks their own freight. And it was actually Amazon telling me that I had to be here between hours of whatever and whatever. And you know, it was a hurricane. I have things to do, so I tried to plan my life around it, but sure enough, my package never arrived. And whenever we would call Amazon, they would look at their computer, see the same information that we had seen, and yep, the shipper says they're going to be there today. And I'm like, really? Really? There's nothing but trees down in this area. Not just this area. I mean, there was not a street light working in this in the city. Oh, jeez. I have botched that shortcut more times. You know what? I'm gonna take this fun one at the end again. This is just a fun little way to go. You gotta loop. Oh, I forgot to turn. Yay. Let's come up and do my new track, which is Mission. There's a lot of shortcuts in here I just can't seem to get working. There's this one with like a barge ramp scenario. And then this shortcut where you come up the jump down the middle. I mean, I'm sure I'll try it a bunch of times on this run, but I've never gotten that one to come out. Oh, geez. That was not going to work out well. I kind of like to helicopter myself a little bit off of that jump, so I'm facing slightly differently. So when you land, you're landing on the corner. And that button, that just pushes out a little car destroyer thing. There's a hole down there that gets you down underneath the hill here and puts you out by the ravine. And again, on these jumps, I like to helicopter myself a little bit. Except for this last one. Now, it is advantageous to get up on that bridge over there. There's some unlockables on it, and I haven't gotten up there since I started playing this emulated version here with Redream. Let's do this stupid thing. So as near as I can see, what you do is you use this line to line yourself up, and then you just kind of come around here, and then you realize that wasn't the line you were supposed to use. I think the arcade version in the middle of this field has a more standard jump that gets you into a similar shortcut realm. A little bit of Not brakes, but take your foot off the gas for that. There's that barge thing over to the right that I can never seem to hit. Maybe I need a more powerful engine. That doesn't sound like this game. Oh, let's try this shortcut here. Come down here, try and get... Nope. Boom. Can you tell that I don't normally do the shortcuts in this game? Oh. I think I hear a truck. Let's mash this guy. Oh, got me too. Yay. So that can be fun with deaths on. There's actually a number of buttons in this game, and all they do is jerk over the other cars. You know, closing something up or whatever. You know what? I am hearing all kinds of truck backing sounds, so I think, well guys, until next time, I guess Reaperman out. I gotta go and potentially pick something up. Have a good one. Yeah, I'm back. That was a false alarm. Totally lame. I think I actually hear the wife opening the door to check. I'd say this is my favorite music in the whole game that I'm yakking over right now. I do love this, and this is, for sure, this is Barry Leitch. Because he was always on the new tracks. I just don't know if he was on the old tracks as well. You may have heard him from Top Gear, or more recently, kind of a spiritual successor to Top Gear, which is Horizon Chase and Horizon Chase Turbo. I'm going to blow up there. I don't think I can get the speed to get up there from here. No. It's just an incredible track. It goes through kind of a few different changes over the course of its play. Whoop. Let's go down underneath the hill this time. There's actually a way you can get up to over on this side, and it kind of drops you, right into it. There's a lot of shortcuts here that they're pretty much here to line you up for other things. But yeah. It's also beneficial to kind of helicopter yourself a little going through these water things. And if I was smart, I would have taken that tight jump, but I was really not set up for it, so yeah. As a kid, I used to just do this, where I just cut across all the roads and keep going. Oh, I've never done that stupid loop thing on this run. Keep forgetting to do it. Let off the gas. Gold coin teasing me up there. Slam on the brakes here. I'm going to try and do the barge thing that I'm not going to be able to achieve. I don't actually know how to hit it for sure, but I'm just going to... It's not even there. There must be a place where you sight up on the barge just to make sure you hit it. Yes. Yeah, no. So what this does is it puts you inside. It drops you from way up there to down underground in this building, and it spits you out right on this little curvy ramp right there. There is no strategy guide for this game, so the maps online are quite poor that I've seen. I've managed to put myself together a strategy guide based on an old tripod page of all things. However, it was out before the special edition, so this track isn't in there. It's just the basic 5 tracks. Whoa. Now, In Dreamcast console form, Rush 2049 is way more than just this. It's got a very fleshed out kind of battle mode, and it's got a stunt track mode, and a survival mode, where you try and get through an obstacle course. It is just all kinds of fun. Oh, and the ghost mode is really nice. And if you're actually still back in the 90s, which none of us are, you can go online and download ghost runs from other people and try and beat them. It's pretty cool, actually. This game is easily a 10 out of 10. One of the best games ever made. And there's just nothing out that really scratches the same itch. There's a game on Steam called Distance, and that's kind of like a cross between Rush 2049 physics and Trackmania, but there's so many tracks that it's not about track memorization or shortcuts, really. And there's too many superpowers in it, like jumping and turning yourself into a jet. Otherwise, another game that I can think of is the first MotorStorm game, just because that's another game that is fueled by incredibly dangerous jumps that you're only kind of expected to survive. And that also is multi-path track memorization. It's actually a lot like this one. Unfortunately, it's got kind of that early 2000s kind of corporate punk soundtrack of everything is extreme, and like this game calls itself All Kinds of Extreme, but it doesn't have that kind of early 2000s everything is punk rock but with sponsors everywhere. It's very confusing. If you've ever played the Burnout series, the real ones, the good ones, like Revenge and Takedown and all that, then you'll know the stupid atmosphere that I'm talking about. Those are good games, by the way. So I kind of made that. I didn't make it smooth, but I kind of made that. I don't know how to get into the similar ramp section to the left here. I just know that it exists. I also know there's a way to get onto that roof. That would probably help me for the barge. Well, that's fun. Let's do a new track. Let's do let's do Metro, but backwards. And let's take the laps down because this is actually a long track. I don't know how long you guys actually want to watch me for. Boom. Yeah, this Redream emulator though, everything is nice and crisp. I do like that. I'm never quite sure how to take this opening. Whoa. Those trees are thick enough to make you explode, but most trees in this game are not. Alright, so we come up here, we gotta slow down for this corner. As you can see, that drone ahead of me that just bashed into the wall, he's going, it's properly slowing down for the corner didn't really save me anything. You know, I've never made it along the top nearly that far. I should try and do that sometime. I'm sure there's an unlockable or something down there. There's Leitch Audio. Oh, it's not auto. And there's the log cabins. It'll be down there along the bottom, log homes. As I'm sitting there staring at the billboards, completely whiffing the quarter pipe. Whatever. Just a game. I don't care if I lose. I'm really trying to chew up miles in this game. And if I start winning too much, like if I suddenly get good, I'll turn the difficulty up. It can get a lot higher, but I don't think I have the parts to... I kind of like to be in the pack. And as I've gotten better and better at this game, I've started to notice that a game that I didn't think really had ketchup in it, it certainly does, actually. This game has rubber banding, like you wouldn't believe. But it never seems to be enough to let you win. You can catch up tremendously, but you're not gonna pass that first car. In fact, I don't think catch-up is even going to get you up to that first car. It just mostly keeps you from being in dead last. Whoa. Come on, car. I'm going to Gran Turismo this guy and just use his car body as brakes. Oh, that worked out extraordinarily poorly. Sometimes it doesn't, and in death mode it's super fun to do stuff like that, like nudge people while they're in the air and just watch them slowly glide off into the side of a building. Death mode is tremendously fun. It's probably just not fun on camera because it's me restarting the course a lot. The nice thing about death mode is when you restart in death mode, when you die and it restarts you, you keep your mileage. And that is important because this game has a lot of mile unlocks for equipment. This game's very much padded out, where I think the arcade version you've unlocked all of the tracks in like 50 miles. And that's like 5 races. That's not even a lot. I guess it depends on how many laps it's set for. Oh. So I'm a little nervous about this shipment. I'm hoping they're just kind of eyeballing the weight a little bit because they say it weighs 421 pounds, which it should weigh 620, which is like 200 pounds off. So that's making me a bit nervous because you wouldn't think the freight shippers would ballpark like that, but maybe they only care about, you know, within 500 pounds. I just hope it doesn't arrive and it's like a stupid Tetris or something. I got to spend some time with the Tetris arcade game while I was in Orlando, and it's made me realize that I don't really much like the Tetris arcade game. I guess it's okay. It's okay. Also, that one was a little bit broken. Even when I tried to do my technique of using the second player controls instead of the ones on the left using the right player, it was still a little too broken. But yeah, that was I was in a flea market actually, and it was an arcade in a flea market stall, so I guess that's about what you can expect. It was great that they were all original machines, that it wasn't just some stupid emulator in there. But they had like I believe a cruising world, and the world, unfortunately, it had a LCD downgrade on it. I guess it looked alright. It just, you don't get the free, you kind of get a little bit of free anti-aliasing in 3D games when you go with a CRT. Just because of how everything works. Whoa. Ooh. Now, interestingly, from what I understand, the cruising games, they do not have hard drives in them, where I think the Hydro Thunder, or the Thunders, and the Rushes do have hard drives. It'll be interesting to see if my cabinet has a hard drive or if it's been kind of replaced with compact flash. Let's pick a new track. Let's try my new mission track here backwards. This is actually my first time racing this one backwards because, at least in modern time, of course, because I just unlocked it with the circuit. Oh, now I can get down into that stuff on the other side there. I can also get up into there. doing this terribly. Well, I can get up there. I can probably get onto that thing. Suddenly the geometry is all just... Seeing it from the backside, it gives away a lot of the exits for the front direction stuff. And I'm not getting down into the sewers. Alright, let's try and helicopter a little bit off of these. Nope, not enough. Whoop. Perfect. Okay, and then this thing comes down, and that switch has been moved slightly. There's a gold coin. They're the same coins in both directions, by the way. It's just easier to find them. Let's hit this thing backwards and see. Well, let's not. I was wondering if I could fly out of that ramp and be up high. Fantastic soundtrack. Ah. Okay, I just suck. Okay, let's try and do this. Let's try and do this. See if we can get this done. There's that. Yeah, wow. Oh, there is that ramp. The one sitting out in the middle of the field. I just didn't see it. Okay. It's the forward direction ramp for getting up there. I was wondering where that was because I know in some versions of this it's been a little bit more obvious. I carry that much more speed. Jeez. Oh. I really like this song. Whoa. Alright, is this going to just explode me? Don't explode me, don't explode me, don't explode me. Yes! Herc! A little tweak into that and that would be a viable strat. Oh, I only have 3 laps on. That's... Wow. That's right, I turned my laps down. Well, let's try up here. Let's try up here and see how this goes. Okay. Well, that sucked. I don't know how I expected that to go. I mean, clearly much better, but... You know what, let's the last lap here, and I'm pretty far back. Let's try this. Get up the hill this way. Splash. You know, the splashes are much less of a deal in the backwards direction. Thank you, invisible walls. I just rear-ended that guy and he exploded. Let's do this one again. This was fun. Oh, am I being attacked by cats? You guys. Let's try going off this way. Can I do this? Can I? Oh. Well, that's neat. Okay, so maybe the barge is just a lot easier to hit from that direction. Maybe I have to be on the roof to hit it from the other direction. Okay, well, that's fun. Anyway, I'm going to try not to burn myself out on this game before it arrives. So until next time, Reaper Man out. For real this time.